Hello, my friends, and welcome to episode 3 of the Kiss Army Nation podcast. I am your host, Pasquale Vari, and I am joined by my co-host, Andy Moyen.
Hey, what's happening?
How's it going, Andy? Everything good?
Wow, we made it to episode 3. It feels like we've done 50 already. 50.
Hey, what happens when we make it to episode 350? We're going to say we made 350.
No,
No.
no, just easy.
So today's episode is going to be a discussion panel. And before we begin our panel, we would like to introduce our panel guests. And our first guest is Claudio Spira.
Hey
How's it going,
guys,
Claudio?
I'm doing great. So Pasquale, Andy, thank you guys for having me, and thanks everybody for following up this great podcast. Once again, Pas, Andy, thanks for giving fans like me the opportunity to share our history and to be part of the first discussion panel, which is going to be a lot of fun. And again, thank you for having me. It's really a pleasure and really excited about it.
And our second guest, Patrick de Montigny.
Hi.
How's it going,
Hi.
Pat?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, so same as Claudio, I'm very happy to participate in this debate, and I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I have my own opinions, and it's, I like to share my opinions, and it's going to be cool. I'm really honored to be there.
So before we start our discussion panel, we would like to get to know our guests a little bit better. So I want to start with Claudio. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your history, how you got into KISS and some of your KISS experiences?
Cool. Okay, cool. The first time I was introduced to the band was back in 1979 when I saw them on TV. Actually, the two videos, Sure Know Something and I Was Made for Loving You. And since that moment, I was hooked for life with the band. So I've been a big fan since then. And the reason why a little bit late in the game, 79, it was because I was born in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, and I didn't have the chance to be exposed to KISS due to the political landscape. So at that time, there was a dictatorship, so we didn't have access to rock and roll, to big bands from America. So then towards the end of the 70s, things started to move in the right direction. So then for me, I was like going back in history. I didn't know about, records like Love Gun, Destroyer, KISS, or Dress to Kill, or Alive. So then that was my first glance with the band, in the 79. And, I've seen the band many, many times, around 40 times. I can say that I've been to two KISS cruises, number 3 and 4. And, just to name a few, I would like to say that I saw them the first time in 1994 in Buenos Aires during the Kiss My Ass tour with Bruce and Eric. Great sound, great band. The lineup was amazing how they sounded at that time. And then some of the other big shows that I've been to, it's, the Madison Square Garden for the reunion tour in 96, Dodger Stadium 98 for the Psycho Circus tour opening, and then Cobo Hall in 2009 for the Alive 35 tour. And big fan. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. To me, what I take out of all this history is friendship, having the chance of being here with you now in Canada. I've been in Canada for 17 years now. And hey, I'm having a blast, and KISS is the strongest connections that I have with people. Thanks to KISS in Canada, it's like home for me now.
Fantastic. Thank you. Patrick, how about you?
Nice.
I got into KISS in 1977. It was on July 12th when they played Montreal. Now, I didn't go to the show, but an older sibling of mine, his friend at the time was into KISS, and he had an extra ticket, so he took him there. So while my brother was impressed with the show, he didn't become a fan, but I kept hearing him talking about, show and how it was, fabulous and everything, and the makeup and everything. And you didn't have internet, so we got our hands on a magazine where he showed me a photo of the band. The first album cover. I think it was like a review. I mean, it's vague, but anyways, I was like, oh, I want to hear this music. And I had a cousin who had bought the album thinking the band was going to sound like Genesis, like Peter Gabriel or Rock, which of course wasn't the case. So he gave it to me, and then I became hooked. And ever since, I was a collector, everything. And at the end of the 90s, I put on the first Montreal Expo.
Oh,
I did 5 expos. It was a great time. Many people, wanted to do a Kiss Expo at that time, but you cannot have the American ones. They were a different beast, but I was able to pull it off for 5 different shows. It was a good time, so I really enjoyed it. I kind of miss it, but yeah, that's how I got into Kiss. And I mean, it's in your blood for life ever since I was a kid.
Fantastic. Thank you. And once again, guys, welcome to the show.
thank you. Thank you.
Isn't it fun trying to pull off one of these like expos, man? That's incredible, man. I would have been so awesome to be there at one of those. I mean, I never knew there were Montreal expos, man, back in those days. I knew about New Jersey, New England ones, man. That would have been kind of cool to go to Canada ones.
Right. Well, they couldn't be compared to the ones in the U.S. I have my good friend from London, Ontario, put the very first Canadian one in London, and they were pretty good too. And those expos back in the day his expos were cool because you had dealers, you had like a video booth, but you didn't have to put up with finding a tribute band or a special guest, but they were still cool because they were less complicated to put together.
Sure.
People were happy. The market was there too, because the band at that time was not a downtime, but it was during the Hot in the Shade. They were just starting to come back, but there was like a demand for the older stuff. So it was like a perfect timing for that.
Timing. Mm-hmm.
But you had some amazing guests. You had Bill O'Coin, Mark St. John.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, wow. Really? Wow.
Yeah, and just a quick story. Mark St. John, he was held so long at the customs. I was worried he wouldn't. I never found out what the trouble was, but I thought, he's taking a long time, So, but it was good. Yeah, I had a good time. I tried, at some point, the guests are limited. Vinny was into hiding. I really wanted to get Vinny at some point, but didn't have what didn't have any clue where he was. And at some point I decided to stop the conventions anyway. I felt we had, it had run its circle.
Mm-hmm.
And just one final point, Patrick's been helping me out a lot with my Kiss Army Nation TV events. Which is amazing, Patrick. And we're going to continue doing that. Believe me.
Cool.
Please do, guys. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Now for the meat and potatoes. So our discussion panel today was actually inspired by Andy. So Andy, can you give us? Oh yeah, it's on you, my friend. Can you give us an idea of what we're going to be talking about today?
This is my idea. This is your idea, Claude's idea. Because I'll tell you the truth, I really did want to do this, to be honest, because I figured everybody else in the world has already done this. There's a lot of podcasts, and they probably already done this. So I'm kind of iffy about this one because out of all the things, I didn't think we'd start off with this one. So it wasn't me, it was you. You're just trying to throw the thing on me because they want to take me on this one. So anyways, we are talking about, and just to let everybody know, before we get all into this, I did buy the albums. So we're going to be talking about Paul Stanley's Soul Station Then and Now. So
okay.
I did buy the albums when they came out. So just to let everybody know, I did support it. So I did buy. So you're welcome.
So essentially the idea here is, we're not going to be focusing on the album per se, but the idea of the controversy that's been popping up online of whether or not Paul did the right thing by pursuing the Soul Station project, which is that's essentially the argument here. Okay, so before we start that, I want to get everybody's thoughts about the album. What did you think of the album? A few words, Claudio.
Okay, I like the album. Actually, I like it a lot. So even though I'm not a huge fan of the soul music, I do recognize Paul's intention with the product, and I believe he did a remarkable job with it. So to me, the music transmits good vibes. You know, it's fun, it's relaxing. It's not Kiss for sure. You know, it's not like when you're sitting to listen to a Kiss album. This is something different. To me, it is not an improvised piece of work. For instance, the 9 covers that you can find in the album, I think he makes a good rendition to them. And the originals, you know, the 5 original songs, I find they are really, really good. So I'm actually impressed. I do like the album a lot.
Okay, Patrick, what do you think?
Okay, I'll true confessions. I haven't bought the album yet, although I heard 3 songs so far. So I have a pretty good idea of what it is. As far musically, it's very strong. Now, I'm a little bit with Claudio in the sense that it's not my cup of tea. The music is not really what I am into, but I consider at this point Paul can do whatever he wants. You know, it's a side project, so my expectations were, I had 0 expectations because of that. If Kiss did an album like that, then I'd be a little surprised. But Paul Stanley, as a solo artist, he can do something like that. I think he can pull it off, and it's well done. The production's good. I mean, what I've heard so far, it's of good quality. You can tell he put a lot of heart and soul into it. You know, just like he did with Kiss, and you know, for me, that's what matters. And he seems to be very comfortable doing that. So I think he can pull it off, and hopefully, you know, we'll see more of it.
Okay, Andy, what did you think?
Well, how do you want to go?
Well, let's start with how did you feel about the album, first of all, about the music? How did you feel about the album? Your first listen.
Well, so Kim grew up on some of the stuff because her parents were into that. So Kim is a huge Kiss fan, but she likes a lot of different music, a lot of different types. So Kim's iPod is full of those songs. She has the original versions. And we hang out at the deck, whatever, and she's got it on thing, and it just plays whatever. And those songs have already come up. So I've already heard those songs.
Okay.
100%, they're not my cup of tea at all. And it's fine. I listen to the songs. They are good, though. See, that's the thing. He does them good. He does have help. If you listen to the whole thing, I'm sorry, I don't remember all the people's names in the band, but you know, he does have help in the background. He does have help singing actually with him at the same time. But it is in Paul's range of voice now. You know, Paul is not going to do or not going to hit I Was Made for Loving You anymore. I mean, let's just get the fact. It's over with on that part. So for him to be, you know, if this is his zone now, that's his zone. So on that point of view, listening from the originals, hearing the originals from Kim's things to hearing his, they're fine. You know, so as in that artist part of it, it's fine. So it doesn't sound bad. That's the thing. It doesn't sound bad for that. So that's on that question.
Okay, and just one more quick one. Claudio, how did you feel about his original material on the album?
I love it. I love those 5 songs, man. To me, you know, we can go into detail later on, but I see a lot of Kiss stuff in there. I see a lot of some of the stuff from his '78 solo album. I even recognize some kind of stuff coming from Unmasked. You know, you're gonna think I'm crazy, but you know, I do recognize some stuff even actually coming from Live to Win. To me, you know, the thing that he didn't co-write any of those songs, it was all him. It was all Paul Stanley. You know, to me, it's impressive. So, and actually, those 5 songs, I think that they fit really well into the album. because you might think that this guy coming from a rock world, he was going to try to come up with some songs that maybe didn't match the whole soul album, but they do. So, to me, this guy, he's an artist and he can do whatever he wants. So he proved it with his paintings and stuff. He's into art, and he's a chameleon, man. He can change, and he can adapt quite easily.
Patrick, have you heard his original?
Not the
Original material?
originals. I mean, or perhaps I didn't know they were originals, because
Okay.
even the remakes, we're not. Again, not being a soul fan, I'm not familiar with that much material, anyways.
Mhm.
But again, I think if that's going to be the kind of music he's going to be into, I think he can get away with that. He can do it because, like Andy said, I think the high-pitched songs are not something he can do anymore.
Right.
And he has to go into a field where he's going to feel comfortable. And obviously, even though, like I said, I'm not a huge soul fan, it was what came before rock and roll, sort of. So
Mhm.
there's roots,
Mhm.
there's soul roots in that music, blues and all that. There's a connection there, and I think it's okay for him to go into that territory. And again, the only thing that's kind of weird is that a lot of people didn't like Peter's soul album, which was a soul-oriented album. Now Paul releases that. Again, there's no right or no wrong, but it's kind of funny, because I got into the Peter Criss album. I'll make this real quick. I got into the Peter Criss album real quick because when I was young, the soul albums had just been released. My first one that I wanted to buy was Ace, but it was not in store. So I took Peter's, and yeah, it was different. It was really different, but I kind of got hooked on it. Maybe it's also a time capsule. You had to be in that era to, I think there's nostalgic.
Yeah.
There's a nostalgic connection there, but at the
Mhm.
same time,
Mhm.
the album's quite good. So I see a connection with Paul's album though too.
Okay, Andy, how did you feel about the original material?
Again, I mean, he can do, again, like you guys said it, he can do what he wants. He's already established himself as, whatever he wants to do, and it's fine. But, man, at the point of I don't want to jump the gun here on some of the stuff if you have those questions before. I don't want to shoot off, but he turned around even in his book, because Claudio knows that actually page 233 or 230 in his book. He slams Peter's Criss' solo album, which is a blues, soul, all that kind of stuff, and he hated it, and he gave it a bunch of crap, and now he's doing it.
Yeah.
Now he's actually has an album like that, and Peter's voice is just simply amazing. And before people say anything about, oh man, Peter hasn't sung in a long time, but like a year ago, if you saw that Peter sang one of his songs, even though the backtracking was him, but you saw Peter in his house singing, and listen to Peter sing. So Peter can still sing those kind of bluesy and souls kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Now it makes me wonder if Peter Criss came out with another album like that, how would people feel? How would people feel if Gene Simmons came out with a soul album? Would Paul like Peter's? If Peter came out with another soul album, would Paul bash on it again? Or if Gene came out with one like that? I mean, Paul even bashed on Gene's soul album, which was, Gene went way off the hook. You want to talk about somebody who went way out of the box? Is Gene's soul album, and Paul hated that one too. Yeah. So I'm just talking about, now you're talking about Paul being out of the box, which I don't think this is really out of Paul's box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think Soul Station's really out of Paul's box. I think he's always had that kind of potential of doing this kind of stuff solo anyways. Even if he wasn't even in Kiss, I think if he did this from the beginning, he probably could have been popular and been in that kind of music. You know what I'm saying?
That is true. That is true. He, this album is closer to Paul's, roots than some of the stuff that Gene came up with, or even Peter. That is true. But what do you think about the album? So you didn't give your opinion on this.
You mentioned that Paul's like a chameleon, and that's exactly why I liked the album. I'll be the first to admit soul is not my cup of tea either.
Yeah.
But you know what? When I was a kid, Van Halen and Thin Lizzy wasn't my cup of tea either. It was Kiss, listening to Kiss, that got me into rock music. Going to the theater wasn't my cup of tea till I saw Paul Stanley and Phantom of the Opera. I met Paul a few years ago. I bought one of his paintings, and Paul and I had a discussion about art. I'm not into art. I appreciate it more now because of what Paul does. On the Kiss cruise, he did a cooking show on stage, and I don't watch cooking shows, but I was mesmerized by his show. Okay, yes, I'll admit, because it's Paul Stanley up there. Yes,
Right.
for sure.
Right.
But it's because Paul Stanley's up there that I listen, and then, hey, wait a minute, this is interesting. And it's the same thing with this album. If I heard of a Soulsation band, I wouldn't look at it twice. But because there's a name Paul Stanley there, and and Eric Singer as well, I want to listen to it. And I really, really enjoyed it. I wish he did more of originals on this album, maybe one or two covers. His originals were amazing. Save Me was an incredible song. I played on repeat in my car all the time. And that could easily be a Kiss song.
Absolutely.
Easily. And you could easily find that, like you said, on Live to Win or a solo album or on a Kiss album.
Yeah.
So to start off the discussion, yes, Paul's in Kiss, and there's a certain image you want to maintain being in a band like Kiss. Was this a mistake? Doing this project, was it a mistake because Paul is still in Kiss? Should he have waited till after the band called it quits? Claudio.
No, I don't think so. Definitely not. So as we said before, he's an artist. He's in his 70s, and I personally welcome any form of art that he creates. At the end of the day, it's up to the audience, to either adopt the product that he puts up or not. So No, really no. I don't think it's a mistake. He can do whatever he wants. Then it's up to us to decide if we like it or not. At the end of the day, that's what it is.
Okay, Patrick.
I'm with Claudio on that. I don't think it's a mistake because again, you got to understand those guys are really something. I wouldn't want to be in their shoes for this reason because you have a portion of people, let's say if he would have done an album very similar to what he does in Kiss, people would have said, well, he can't really do anything else. Now, if he does something completely different like Soulstation, then you got a bunch of people who are going to say, well, he shouldn't have, this is too different. So I think as a solo artist, that's the thing. He has the license to do whatever he wants, license to kill or whatever you want to say. He can do it because again, it's not a Kiss project. People should, yes, we are fans and we buy this album because we are fans, but let's not expect a Kiss album. So no, I think as a side project, he can do what he wants. I think that's the thing. You feel like you want to do something different. Doing something solo is the best. Kiss has a certain sound and a certain identity that they have to stick with. Whereas as a solo artist, the doors are wide open. You can do
there's no limit.
I think.
Andy, what do you think?
Well, yeah, he can do what he wants. It's your life, Nobody can tell you what you can and can't do to a certain point. You know what I mean? He's already established himself as a rock god, whatever you want to call it. So he can do whatever he wants. I think a lot of people are upset because how long has it been since Kiss has done anything now?
Right.
It's been like 8 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And the last thing they did was with that kiddie band from Japan.
Yeah.
And for the people who turned around, I'm sorry, I'm going to bring this back to Peter's solo album because you see it a lot sometimes online everywhere. I see it all the time, how people bash Peter's solo album, but then all of a sudden now, oh, Paul's coming out with this Soul Station album, and oh my God, I love it. And maybe it wasn't even out yet. Oh, I'm going to love this. I'm going to love this. And I kept saying, well, if you're going to love it, go back to listen to Peter Criss's first solo album. If you don't like Peter Criss's first solo album, why would you even bother even liking Soul Station? You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. But again, Paul has the right to do what he wants, at this point, and it's fine. But I think as Kiss fans, we always want more. Who doesn't want more of that? Your band. And and Paul can say whatever he wants without us as fans, as Kiss fans, not Paul fans, as Kiss fans. This is not going to sell. I'm sorry.
So, but Andy, let me ask you a question. But to come back to past question. So then you think this was a mistake to release this album now?
I don't know. Not really necessarily a mistake. I wouldn't call it a mistake. It's more of a, oh man, you had 8 years or so to do a Kiss thing. How come we couldn't do something in between those times?
Okay.
Phil, give us a little something with the Kiss side and do this. Why not? You had the time, right? You had the time to do this stuff with the other guys. Why not do it? And, for 8 years, come on, 8 years. It wasn't like a year ago. It's 8 years from 2013 and up. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying it as fans. Come on. Everybody's going to say the same thing. The itch, man. We want more. We want more. We're used to seeing Kiss come out with album after album, another year, another album, maybe a year and a half, another album, or a couple of years. Now it's stretched out. Now Monster could be it as a full album. That's it. And again, it comes back. I'm sorry, but it comes back, man. If it isn't for us as Kiss fans, people are not going to buy this on the shelf.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't understand too. Paul even said it himself that this is not Kiss. This is not Kiss related. This is Paul Stanley. Okay. Well, if it's Paul Stanley, why is it on Kiss Online? You don't see Gene Simmons stuff on KOL. You don't see like Gene Simmons' A-Hole album was on KOL. Absolutely not. But you keep seeing Soul Station stuff up on KOL. Why is that? If it's separate, leave it separate. This is Paul Stanley. It's on KOL, and they keep showing KOL. Oh, buy this album, buy this album.
You have a point. You have a point there right away. Yeah, you have it.
So why Paul? As Paul saying, even Paul said it again. He wanted to get out besides Kiss fans to the massive people. A regular. I want to say a regular person because we're all regular people, but somebody say off the street who doesn't even know Paul Stanley's in Kiss, and says, "Hey, check this album out." Like a new artist. You know what I'm saying? Totally. Without us, it doesn't happen. Like his paintings, it doesn't happen. We're the ones buying it, not somebody off the street.
But I believe that all of the Kiss members and ex-Kiss members, they leverage on the fact that they were part of Kiss. So the same thing that Ace is doing, or Peter might do, or even Gene Simmons is doing. He has gone in so many different projects. He has branched out so much, but because he was in Kiss and he's still in Kiss. And I think that Paul is doing the same thing.
I want to jump on something that Andy said. There hasn't been a lot of Kiss music released lately. It's been how many years now?
Oh yeah.
And Paul has said he doesn't want to release any more Kiss music. He doesn't want to do any more Kiss music.
Yeah.
Now, in my opinion, I didn't read this anywhere. In my opinion, Kiss for him is a job. And right now, it is not financially feasible to come up with another Kiss album. Soul Station, and Andy, I think you're right. I don't think it's going to make money. I don't think it's going to sell either. I think some of it, the Paul Stanley fans are going to buy it. But Paul isn't doing it for the money. He's doing it for the creativity. He's branching out creatively. And this is why you could see the passion in what he's doing with this project, because he's really enjoying it. It's not a job. It's for fun. Patrick, what do you think?
Well, yeah, and also the fact that there's no new Kiss music. I got to say, the other thing that I'm pretty sure, if not them, people working for them read the comments online, what fans say, and a lot of fans said bad things about Monster. Now, weird thing, I can only speak for myself. Now, I may get tomatoes thrown at me, but I think Monster was the best album since Lick It Up.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, only because they took the attitude of we're gonna write stuff. It's gonna sound the way it's gonna sound. Because before they'd say something like, "Oh, it's gonna be a cross between Animalize and Destroyer," which was never the case, in my opinion. But with Monster, they just recorded stuff and they said, "Okay, we're gonna put it out." It was very meat and potatoes, and for some reason, I liked it. I kind of got hooked on it because of that. And I think it's too bad that there should have been a follow-up to Monster. But again, you see fans say stuff that is just like unbelievable, and it's like, does that give them the initiative to put out another Kiss album?
Mhm.
Probably they could say, well, the fans aren't going to like it anyway, so why bother, you know?
Mhm.
I was really surprised because, again, as fans, we shouldn't expect another Destroyer, another Creatures. Just enjoy what they put out. And I think Monster was very focused, a very together album, more than Psycho Circus, So, yeah, they should have done more. And, but yeah, again, Paul, because he's in Kiss, that's why Soul Station's going to make a little bit of noise, but I don't think it's going to attract people outside of the Kiss circle.
Yeah.
If anything, I'm surprised, some people are going to Kiss. Ugh. So, the guy from Kiss, no, I don't want to touch it, even though they may like the album. There's the Kiss connotation that people outside the Kiss circle may not want to have anything to do with.
Yeah.
It's going
Claudio?
to prevent them from giving the album a fair shake, I think.
Good point. Claudio, your thoughts?
No, you know what? When I said before that Andy has a strong point, and I just wanted to go back to that. I think people who actually people who don't like Soul Station or the new album, in all fairness, they have the right not to like soul music or whatever. But I think that there's a lot of frustration coming from the point that Paul now he has put himself into this new personal side of business, his project, and he's basically starting to blast Kiss, saying, "Oh, maybe it is a time for us to give up touring and this and that." These guys, both Paul and Gene, they modify their speech, depending on what they want to sell. Okay, I get that, but I think the main point comes from the fact that many people, including me, like you guys, we were expecting new material from the band. Okay, but my opinion on this is that Paul now, for him, Kiss is boring. Okay, it was a good show, Dubai. We all agree, but you can tell that it's a job, as you said, Pask. So I don't see a lot of passion in there. His voice is not up there anymore, so it's very hard for him to sing Kiss songs now. But yeah, I think I couldn't be so dramatic, but to me, this new venture for Paul, to me, might be the end of Kiss. That's what I think.
Andy, your thoughts?
Well, it's very. All right. Here's another thing too. If Paul was saying he would like Kiss fans to like it, there's no doubt about it because they're promoting on KOL, and he's promoting on his own Paul Stanley website. But where's the rest of the promotion? The day that the album went on sale, I was in New Hampshire at a restaurant with Kim, sitting there, and somebody sent me a message. "Andy, Soul Station's going on sale right now. The albums are up you can get them for pre-sale along with the CD." So I'm sitting there right before ordering. I'm sitting there at the table, and I'm like, okay, gonna order this. Hey, Kim, you want me? And I said, well, we'll wait and get the CD. I said, I'll get it at the store because I don't know if it's just because I'm old-fashioned. I know albums are really harder to get now in a store, but the CDs usually you can still get a CD in stores. So I bought we bought the 2 albums, the purple and the black, and I said, we'll wait until the CD comes out, and we'll go get it at the store like I always do. Go to wherever it's being sold, and promote it. Basically, pick it up, go, hey, look, I just bought the new Paul Stanley Soul album. You should check it out. So how is Paul going to get to the masses when you can't even buy the CD anywhere except online only in a couple places?
Yeah.
It boggled my mind. And then I see after the fact, and of course I was late because I didn't see it. I guess, Paul did that thing where he signed X amount of CDs, I guess.
I missed
like
that.
1,000 copies. After the fact, after a month and a half, I had already bought, the albums and stuff. Why did he sign stuff after the fact, way after the fact, for these other people to, basically, here, buy my album, here, buy my album? What about the first 1,000 people or whatever, I forget how many, 1,000, 1,500 people who bought it in the beginning when they first went on sale?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? The pre-orders. What about the people where they basically say, I don't want to say the real fans, but the people who just went out and bought it anyways? What about the rest of us? And I still can't. To this day, I am not buying the CD unless I can walk into the store. I really don't want to buy it online. I want to physically walk into the store and buy it even for Kim. Because like I said, she grew up with some of that music and knows it by heart. It would have been awesome if I could have walked into a store and bought it for her, or we bought it together and say, look, take a picture holding it and promoting Paul Stanley's, look, I bought this at, Target or Sears or wherever. You know what I mean? Kmart. I mean, I know some of the stores are gone, but anyways, your local, music store. It's nowhere to be found. So how is he going to get it out to the masses if you're not even going to put it out anywhere?
So why do you think that happened? So that's a poor marketing, campaign, that there was no planning, no commercial, approach. Why do you think that happened? Coming from a band like Kiss or from Paul Stanley, that to me, it's really weird. So I find the same thing. I don't have the vinyl yet because I bought it, and I think the same as Pask, I'm still waiting. And and I was thinking, why the hell can't I go to a store and just buy it? So why do you think, Andy, we got into a situation like this?
Probably the sales weren't that good, so maybe the idea was to say we're gonna do a few signed ones to just boost sales.
Okay.
Yeah, but what?
Okay,
you're gonna sign some to boost sales, but what about the people in the beginning who bought it because they love you in the first place?
They should have done it the other way. First 1,500, get the autographs, and then after, you got a point. I mean, that's how it's supposed to be. They did that,
and I'm not doing it all. Yeah, and I'm not doing it just to be a whiner. It's okay. We didn't get one signed, whatever. I'm not really worried about it now. But at the time, I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, man. I bought it. You didn't have to coax me to say, hey, I'm going to buy, you buy my CD, I'm going to sign it for you. You didn't have to coax us to buy it. If you wanted to buy it in the beginning, we were going to buy it, so I don't know. I think that's why in no promotion. And what Pasquale says, he says, well, this is fun. It's not about the money. Come on. Everything in the long run is about the money. Somebody's got to pay those guys. The people that are on this album, there's a lot of people. Paul's got to pay these people. I don't know, we don't know the ins and outs of the contracts or who gets what, or maybe some people just volunteered to be on it. I don't know. We don't know. You don't know. None of us are going to know. But come on, somebody has to get paid somewhere down the line. Is it going down the line? Will they?
I'm a high school teacher, and I often say, I have a passion for my job. I love my job. I don't do it for the money. But yes, obviously, I want to get paid. I gotta make ends meet. I gotta live. But yeah, I don't do it for the money per se. I didn't go into the profession because I'll make loads of money. It's because I want to give back somehow. But I want to trigger Andy just a little bit more right now, because we had
he's too quiet, man.
We had a discussion a while back, and Andy thought I was nuts. It's sort of a two-part question. Number one, The argument was put forth that, well, why did Paul come up with a Soul Station album, yet back in the 70s, he put down Peter's album? My argument is the following. He did that because, in my opinion,
Jealous?
no, because in my opinion, the solo albums were released because there were fractures in the band. And let's make the band stronger by releasing these albums. Andy, you're not going to agree with me. The solo albums from 1978 are Kiss albums. And when Peter did his album, it didn't sound like Kiss at all. And that's why I think he was bashing the Peter album, because I think Paul especially wanted the solo albums to sound more like Kiss from each respective member. And then imagine they come back together as a foursome again and the power they would have musically. But then Peter branches off into nowhere, and Gene was sort of in La La Land. And really, it was Paul's album and Ace's album that sounded most like Kiss. And I think that's the reason Paul bashed the album at the time. Claudia, what do you think about that?
Well, I tend to agree with you. Also, we have to keep in mind, the time difference, right? So when these guys, when they released the 78 albums, they were in their 20s. And of course, with Paul, there was a lot of rock and roll, kind of lifestyle. I could not imagine him releasing a soul album at that time. Now this guy's in his 70s with his wife, with 4 or 5 children, whatever. I think he's in a period of life where he really feels to kind of pay tribute to all that music that he listened to when he was living with his parents, Otis Redding and all the stuff. To me, it makes much more sense for him to release a soul album now than in the 78. While in the case of Peter, he's always been a soul guy. He's always been a rhythm and blues, and his drumming was so special for Kiss that created this awesome sound that we love, because he was not a rock and roll drummer, right? So that was him. So that was, he was basically respectful to his roots, even at that time, Peter, in the 78. Well, now Paul, he found his way when he's 70, and it's all good. But now let me just say one more thing. I'll be quick. Paul, out of the 4 original members, Paul has the tendency to always bash, and blast everybody else. It doesn't matter if it's Gene, Peter, Ace. I've never heard Paul, say great things about any of the work of the other Kiss members. Never.
Okay. Patrick, what do you think?
I tend to agree with what Claudio says. It's really rare that you're going to hear Paul say something, although he did say something like not overly enthusiastic, but he did say something about Ace's album when he said, when I heard Ace's solo album, I had to smile. I was amazed because he was taken by surprise.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, the bashing of Peter's album, again, it's, I've noticed most Kiss fans don't appreciate Peter's album, and that's okay too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of ironic that Paul went into that specific music style. If he would have done, I don't know, something more something a lot bluesier, or I don't know, or something like Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart branched off into something more like
right.
crooning kind of.
Yeah.
I would have said, well, okay, he's decided to do that. I maintain that he has the right to do whatever he wants, but it's ironic that he chose soul music, the very style that that Peter had, that Paul just bashed. I think all 3 members bashed Peter's album, by the way. But you got a good point, Pask. Maybe we have to think that the soul albums were intended to maybe unify the band, which was totally the opposite. It divided the band. I mean, the band afterwards, Ace and Peter left, and but yeah, it's kind of strange because Peter's solo album was the less Kiss-like, and now years later, Paul does that, and again, it's all good. It's all good. you know, I'm gonna buy the album no matter what, for sure. I mean, again,
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna give it a listen because I'm gonna give it a lesson for sure, and hopefully, you know, I'm sure I'm gonna like a few things on it. But again, like you just said, Pask, you know, if it wasn't Paul Stanley, then would I pay attention to it? Maybe not. You know.
No, you're just saying it like, yeah, they're Kiss albums. Yeah, they put the Kiss name on them because they didn't want on the 78 Soul albums. They put Kiss, on, you know, the Kiss symbol on and stuff because they didn't want people, the massives, to like the band's broken up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why they did that. That's the only reason why they did that, because they didn't want people to think they were already broken up, that they were done at that point. They couldn't stand each other at that point. And to talk about Peter, but like God said, Peter was always that kind of guy, the jazz guy, that kind of rhythm. He did the drums like that. Listen to Peter's song. You got Beth. You know, all the slower songs that he did in Kiss. You don't think he was going to do that when he did his 78 Soul album? The most bizarre out of the four of them really is Gene's, right?
Yeah.
When you think about it, if you really think about it, Gene went way out of the box of him, you know? So Peter's is really not really bizarre when you think about it.
Yeah.
The most bizarre one is actually Gene's. It's very strange, right? It's strange, but it's cool in its weird way, you know? The Wish Upon a Star, now we know why he did it, that kind of stuff. And Ace, man, Ace is just off the chart, man. Anybody can say whatever they want, man. Ace Frehley Soul album, man, from one to it's just totally off the chart. That blew everybody's mind and then some. That album right now, man, you could release that album in 2021. Ace Frehley's new soul album, put that thing out now, man. That thing will hold, you know, just like that, you know. And if Peter had, you know, even Peter's soul album right now, if it was just Peter Criss put out this album brand new, you know, it probably would have sold for Peter Criss fans. You know, his soul album, if it came out in 2021, because he's always been that, you know, the jazz, the rhythm, the blues, you know, that kind of thing. So it's always been in Peter's blood, like you said. Now, if Paul's soul album came out now, it'd be okay. You know, it's very weird how, I guess you could say grown up. If people have grown, you know, Paul's grown up, the rest of the guys grown up. You know, I don't know. You know, I just think it's. Now, I have a question. I know Pasquale has this on his. I don't know what the soul album's selling. I don't know if he cares or not. I would imagine you got to care how much it sells, because, like I said, somebody's going to get paid, or somebody got paid to put this out, stuff like that. If say it goes on tour, would you go?
Claudio?
Yeah, I would go. Yeah. As I said before, even though I'm not a huge fan of soul music, it's Paul Stanley, man. So to me, it's a living legend there on the stage. And yeah, I would go. Yeah.
Patrick?
All same for sure. I mean, Paul comes to Montreal, even though it would be a Soul Station, I'd be there for sure. And I would expect him to do maybe one or two Kiss songs, though. If he's gonna do that, he has to do at least one or two Kiss songs, and maybe one off his first solo album. You know, like I would like him to play, I don't know, Move On, or what else? You know, Tonight You Belong to Me, or something like that.
Hold Me, Touch Me.
Hold Me, Touch Me, sure. And also off Live to Win.
Right.
You have to do maybe one or two songs off Live to Win, for sure.
Yeah, but he had already said, though, that he was going to play nothing Kiss. He already had said that if you came to see him in those California shows, or what do you play, 3 or 4, you know, whatever it was, a couple of years ago or so, that if you come here, to see me to play Kiss songs, it's not going to happen. You're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
I think rightly so.
What about you guys, Pask and Andy? Would you go?
I would definitely go. To be honest, I would go for Paul Stanley, but I think I would really enjoy the show. And apparently, Paul prepared other songs that's not on the album, and I'd want to hear those shows live as well. And you know what? I would love to hear another CD. Hopefully, more of his originals. But I would follow Paul under Soul Station. Absolutely.
Cool.
He
Andy?
can play a Peter
I-
song off Peter's solo album.
I would, I think we would end up going if he came around like close enough. I mean, I don't know, depending on how far. I'm not gonna drive 10 hours to go see him. I mean, it's like hate to say it, even his Live to Win tour never even came close to here. The closest place was I guess somewhere in New York. He didn't even come close to here during his solo stuff. So it's like, but if he came around somewhere in the area and the tickets weren't like $1,000, and that's another thing, the ticket prices, because somebody's got to pay for all these people that are on the road with them, hotels,
Yeah, of course. Of
food,
course.
the whole thing. So guess who's gonna pay that? You, me, you, right? What are the ticket prices going to be? I mean, people complain now about KISS ticket prices. Would you pay $100 to $150 to see Soul Station? That's the other question.
Yeah, that's right.
You're not going to get a $20 ticket. I don't think so.
No, well, you hardly see any $20 tickets anymore.
Well,
except maybe like a local band or something.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, in general,
Yeah.
you're not gonna get to see a $20 Soul Station ticket. It's probably going to be at least $100 and up.
Yeah,
And that's without service
like
charge.
a private show. It's a private show, small venues. Yeah, sure.
But I'd go for sure. Even at
I think I'd go just to see Kim because she knows that music more than I do. I mean, like I said, I've heard him. I would go, and it would be interesting to go. If you saw the fans, you know what I mean? Because you're going to meet up with people that are going to be KISS fans.
Yeah,
How many
for sure.
majority of the people in that audience are going to be KISS fans compared to the ones that are just, non-KISS fans?
Yeah, soul music fans. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Just soul music fans.
Yeah.
So, the greater, it's going to be a massive KISS fans going to these things that will go. And we're all, everybody's going to hang out. And, hey, how's it going? Oh my God, I haven't seen you. It's going to be like a mini reunion for everybody at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, we're coming here to rock out. No, we're going to sit in our chairs going like this.
That's right.
Right.
With a candle there
And that's
on
the
your
other-
table.
And that's another question too, right? If you go see them, are you going to and it's going to be like the theater thing where you're just going to sit in the chairs all night and just go like this?
Of course.
Or people are going to get up and dancing in your chairs and stuff. You know what I mean?
No, there's I don't see any standing up or rocking or dancing. It's just it's gonna be cool, tables and stuff. A glass of wine and enjoying the music. I think that's what's gonna be.
Yeah, because I can't
Sounds like
see
fun.
myself dancing to that music. I mean, you listen to it, it's okay, but to say I'm gonna go like that during a show, I don't think so. I mean, not for myself. I'd sit and look and say, okay, it's Paul Stanley doing, soul music.
And
So-
and everybody in the back, in their minds going, and everybody in their minds saying about, oh my God, come on. They're waiting for that one special Paul Craig's out like, Love Gun.
The soul version.
They're all going to be like, come on, man. Come on. Just,
Dude.
I'm at that one show, that one special show. Paul finally cracks and plays Love Gun.
So I have one final question or comment to close the show.
Sure.
A lot of what I feel the band has done outside of KISS has become part of KISStory, part of KISS, part of something that KISS does as a KISS collective, so to speak. Be it Paul's solo albums, Aces, Peter's, Gene's, it all becomes part of KISStory. Phantom of the Opera is part of KISStory. A lot of when we say we collect KISS stuff, we have the solo stuff in our collection. We have the Phantom of the Opera stuff in our collection. We have Paul's stuff, paintings rather, in our collection. Now, do you think Soul Station will be a part of KISStory down the line? Claudio.
Yes. As you just said, anything that has to do with those guys, the brand is so strong, and the variety of things that they've done in these 50 years, it's so big that yeah, it will be part of history, definitely, and they will find a way to do a marketing pitch to make it fit into the history. You know what I mean? So even though it's a Soul Station, whatever, he's gonna say, well, this is the roots. You know, this is what I was listening when I was a kid, and that led me to Wicked Lester and then Kiss. So there's going to be always a connection to Kiss, always. It's part of history.
Patrick, what do you think?
I'm pretty much with Claudio on that as well. I think, whoever of the original four at least does have its place in history. I mean, you got to think about Frehley's Comet. It's part of history. I mean, there was a reunion, and so I don't see why Soul Station wouldn't be like that as well. And it's probably going to take a little bit of time, though. Maybe not right away, but maybe in a couple of years, people are going to say, "Yeah, well, you know what? That wasn't that bad." And, it's gonna be one of those things where it's gonna hold a special place. It's going to be under the Kiss banner for sure. But yeah, I think it's gonna have a place of its own. Just like probably, I don't know. I'm trying to think of, like I said, Frehley's Comet, but also like even Mick Jagger has done a few solo records that had very little in common with the Stones, but they're still part of the Stones' history. It's going to be the same thing with Paul.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like the Phantoms of the Opera, like you said as well.
Andy, final word goes to you.
Oh boy, I think it'll be part of the tree because it's part of the tree. You know what I mean? And I think that's about it. There's going to be no. It's going to it's going to disappear like Gene Simmons' A-Hole album. It's going to just kind of. It's just going to kind of disappear. I'm sorry. No, actually, I'm not sorry because that's what's going to end up happening. People are going to come back and just like it's the Kiss fans, the diehards more or whatever are going to like keep this in their heart. People are going to like this. Now you're going to have people playing maybe at their wedding some of these songs, at their anniversaries. No, I'm serious. Now I bet you now you're going to see this. People are going to like, hey, they're going to bring the CD and they're going to say, hey, man, I want this version. Of this song played by Paul Stanley at my wedding or anniversary now or birthday or a dance or something like that. So it's going to be in their hearts and especially with it now. It'll be in the Kiss tree, as like everybody else's stuff will be like in that tree if whoever's doing those tree things. But in the Kiss world, no, it's not going to be there. I'm sorry. It's just it'll get lost in that kind of shuffle.
Sure. It's not gonna be part of the main route, but it's gonna be in the tree. It's gonna be in the tree.
Oh yeah, in the tree. It's in the tree. As soon as anybody does anything, it's like Bruce stuff.
Right,
even Bruce's stuff in
right.
Blackwood or whatever. It's in the tree.
Right.
Eric Singer stuff. It's in the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Carr stuff before he was in Kiss. It's in the tree. Everything's in the tree.
Mark St. John.
But
that's right.
Okay, so on that, we're gonna call it a night, and I want to thank Claudio and Patrick for joining the panel, and Andy, as usual, always a pleasure. Thank you very much. And to the Kiss Army, thank you so much for listening. Would love to hear your comments about this particular episode and what you think. So on behalf of the Kiss Army Nation, thank you very much and good night.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hey, guys.